So talking about Bill O'Reilly, do you think he should have been fired?
I don't know what he did. And I don't know what he didn't do. You know, I don't know. I know he's definitely done some gross shit in the past. Like there's the audio of him calling that chick and saying he's going to take a loofah sponge.
Yeah,
and
that's
wash
right.
her
I forgot
pussy.
about the loofah. big old Bill with his loofah in the shower.
I don't know. You know, who knows? I would imagine whenever you hear a story about a guy like that some of it is probably fabricated. I just don't imagine that all the people that say things about him are all telling the 100% truth. I would not imagine that would be true.
Well,
because people are just not that honest.
Once it gets beyond a few people, don't you think that the preponderance of evidence is that they're probably, I guess you can't say they're all telling the truth, but
it's
you
hard.
have to take their word for it,
Well,
because why are they...
No, you don't. You definitely don't.
If there are 6, 7, 8 people all with similar stories...
You definitely have to go, But you don't have to take all their word for it. Because, first of all, you don't know those people. You'd have to know those people. You'd have to really know if they were honest. You'd have to really be there. To know what really happened is so fucking hard, man. Because, first of all, people, not only are they full of shit, but their memory sucks. People's memories, like I'm sure you've had a conversation with someone about something that happened that you witnessed as well, and you both have totally different memories of it.
Memories are terrible.
I've come to accept that, though, from myself over the last few years. Like, I used to, cling to memories and then try to argue them. But I think it's been scientifically proven that the human memory is one of the worst pieces of evidence that you could ever call upon.
Yeah, the justice system is starting to deprioritize it as well, as it should do, because in the past, eyewitness accounts in courtrooms have been very highly prioritized. Like, they've been very highly valued and prized by prosecutors. Well, I mean, this person points out who in the, do you see that person sitting in the courtroom today, madam? And she points her finger and, it's a slam dunk. Of course, that was the perpetrator. Now we realize our memories are terrible, they're wrong all the time. We're really susceptible to suggestion and influence and all that sort of stuff. But I think you kind of remember whether or not your boss, who's a television star, put his hand up your skirt.
Very likely. Probably. But there's also someone who could be seriously deceptive and very ambitious and realizes that Bill O'Reilly's kind of a twat. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get close to this old cunt. And I'm going to get this guy to get creepy with me, and then I'm going to exaggerate what he did, and I'm going to profit off of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you understand that they've paid fucking millions of dollars to people, so there's a real industry in getting Bill O'Reilly to get creepy with you. Like, if I was a chick, especially if I was, a really unscrupulous chick.
He touched my knee, that's $500,000. He went up the thigh, that's $1.5 million.
This guy's a douchebag. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to, kind of give him, a semi-green light. Just a little bit, take it back, a little bit, take it back.
I mean, the problem is, though, that this kind of skepticism towards women's stories about sexual assault is what has permitted people like him to get away with it for decades and centuries, right?
I don't agree with that.
I take your point that it's hard. How can you know? It's just a he said, she said.
I don't think that's I think power has allowed them to get away with it. I think fear and power. The fear of this powerful man. I think that has been more of an influence.
But isn't the fear of not being believed part of that?
Maybe. I think the repercussions that he's going to ruin your career, that he has influence, and also that if you just play ball, you'll get something from it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not talking about an individual person and saying this individual person is not telling the truth. What I'm doing is just making hypotheticals. I'm just saying, if I was a chick and I was an unscrupulous sort of social climber, and we all know that they exist, and I was the type of person that really wanted to make it in this business, and I was like, look, I'm working for an asshole, and I already know there's 5 chicks who got paid. They've already paid out $13 million. I'm gonna fucking move in on this.
I'm interested that Rupert turned on him, Rupert Murdoch turned on him and kicked him out when he's still making a ton of money. He's still the #1 cable show, right? Or he was.
Well, maybe Tucker Carlson had a meeting with him. Pulled him aside. They listen, fuck that guy.
That
the tide comes in and out because of the moon.
Jesus.
Because of fucking gravity. Come on, took the bow tie off.
Speaking of someone who will say whatever they think, their audience wants them to say. That would be Tucker. That's your guy right there. That's with his stupid little bow tie.
He doesn't have a bow tie anymore.
He got rid of it.
It's a straight tie now.
Yeah.
The bow tie's too gay.
Exactly. He don't want to be associated with that.
Or clowns, or someone who's got a camera in it.
So I'm amazed that he's had his renaissance, Tucker. There was that classic Jon Stewart moment when he used to host Crossfire. Chuck Tucker Carlson, and John went on. And he was like, "You're a grown man wearing a bow tie. Stop hurting America."
Well, the Jon Stewart was interesting in that regard, where he was funny on his show when he was doing a scripted monologue and talking to people. He was gracious. But that if he came on your show and he had an issue with you, you would find out how fucking smart and mean he could really be. He'd go after you.
Absolutely. Which is good, because, I mean, Tucker, whatever you think about whether or not Bill O'Reilly believes what he believes, I don't think Tucker knows. Like, Tucker has this constant faith. He has this, have you know, if you're listening to the audio podcast, you can't see my face, but it's kind of furrowed brow and like mouth breathing, kind of like he plays the role of like the bemused clown who I'm just a common man I'm just middle America. I don't understand what you're talking about. And he's like very, very
very riding the fence.
Very kind of riding the fence. Very like never quite having I'm just Mr. Common Sense. Like I'm just saying it like I see it. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I would assume that a lot of these women are telling the truth. What I'm definitely not saying that they weren't telling the truth. What I'm saying is, I don't know. I don't know what happened or what didn't happen. I don't know whether he should be fired or shouldn't be fired. I mean, he fills a niche, right? And if it's my company, and you have to worry about this guy representing you, well, okay, I see where you wouldn't want that guy representing you because he's problematic and people think he's a creep. But he could just go do his own shit like Glenn Beck did.
Well, he will, won't he? Of course he will.
For sure.
He'll do something. He's not going to go away quietly.
Why would he?
I mean, it's an interesting question about what happens to the right-wing media now, because if Roger Ailes is no longer at Fox News and Bill O'Reilly is no longer at Fox News...
For the same reason.
For the same reason.
Both guys for the same reason.
That's a good point. It pretty much plays into the same narrative, doesn't it, of dirty old white guy.
Just a fuck fest going on over there at Fox News.
Just mayhem. Just young women. It's like an old Porky's movie, or like one of those 1970s National Lampoon films with women with their tits hanging out.
People are
running around the dorm.
Tweeting at Hannity now. You're next, Hannity.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going after him now. Like,
and Breitbart's had its dude Steve Bannon sidelined in the White House, so
and he's not even getting along with Trump anymore.
No,
is that true?
I don't know. I'm not friends with him.
I love rumors.
I don't call him up. Hey, Steve. Hey, Stevie. Hey, Stevie B. How you doing with Donnie these days?
Apparently,
you guys still close?
Jared is running the show now.
That's right. I think he had to make a decision, and he kind of sidelined the white nationalist bit, and he kind of empowered the old school Republican orthodoxy. Gee, you'd be pissed if you were a Trump voter, wouldn't you?
To have a Jew running shit?
Well, not just to have a Jew. Doesn't help, Joe. Doesn't help. But, no, I just mean, like, so much of what he sort of ran on was like, it's going to be different. It's not going to be the same old politics. And now, you know, we're going to repeal Obamacare. Well, that didn't work out.
Right.
Now it's just going to be tax cut. Now, he bombed Syria. Well, you weren't supposed to be bombing people. I thought we were going to get out of all these foreign wars and shit.
They don't care.
Like that, I don't know.
So many people, they have this cognitive dissonance that they have in addressing his actions. They're support of him. They're so happy that they won. They would never want to take away their victory. Like, the people that are happy that Trump is in office are so happy that he won and they won with him, that any little thing that happens, they just come up with some sort of a way to rationalize
Some
it or
of them do.
justify it.
Some of them do. I saw a story the other day about a county in Pennsylvania or something which had voted for Obama twice and then voted for Trump because they thought they were going to get change, and they're all just like, well, he just seems like a regular Republican. He's going to try to cut taxes for the rich and go to war with foreign countries. This isn't what we bargained for. But it'll be interesting to see whether or not they flip back in 4 years.
Yeah,
I take your point that they're just really happy that Hillary's not the president.
There's a lot of people that are really happy she's not the president. I think Bill's the biggest. I think Bill's super happy. He's like, thank God. I didn't want to have to go back in there again.
I don't know. There's a lot of tail in that house.
He gets plenty of tail.
Yeah, I bet he does.
Outside. Did you see all that shit
Bill O'Reilly
in the
WikiLeaks political
WikiLeaks
system?
In the WikiLeaks memos
about
the Colin
Bill
Powell
Clinton?
was talking about him banging hookers on the side.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it was like talking about how Bill's at home banging bimbos, and there was some thing about. I mean, Colin Powell just fucking puts it in emails. They talk shit. They talk shit like just like regular people.
Yeah. Don't put it in an email, people. Have we learned nothing?